Do you get too obsessed when you start to like someone? Listen, it's actually more common than you think for people to get really obsessed, to get really excited, to think about a future with them, trips, integrating them with your friends. Like, believe it or not, it's more common than you think. But when it becomes obsessive and that person knows that you're obsessed about it, that's when things get a little tricky. That's when they go, oh, I might want to step back from this one. And then you start going into the pull, push, pull, push. So we don't want you to go in that direction. So first, I just want to start off by saying, yes, it is far more common than you realize. But here's what happens for a lot of people is most of the time when we meet someone great, it's probably after a slew full of people that have been very disappointing. And when you finally meet a great person, you're like, finally, I got one. But here's the thing. I really want you to pay attention to this. Really pay attention. Give it some time. And what do I mean by that? When I say give it some time, what I'm encouraging you is give it time to watch their character. Because most of the time when we get so obsessed, what we start doing is we put that person on a pedestal. And then we start, because as human beings love to be right, we start justifying why we are right about how we feel about that person. But we're not necessarily keeping our eyes open to all of the possibilities of what their character may be and what it may not be. And so when I say give it some time, it's like this. Okay, you meet a person, they're great. You've met a bunch of frogs, a bunch of goofballs who've wasted your time, broken your heart, disappointed you, and you're tired of it. You finally meet a great catch, but this is what you're going to tell yourself. I'll say my name because I'm the only one here. Arica, give it some time. Yes, they're great. They're wonderful. They're far better than those other goofballs that you've been with. But we're going to give it some time because you get to see what their character is about. Continue to go on dates with them. Continue to enjoy and have fun with them. But also be super mindful of how they show up. Is it consistent? Did they show up great on the first date, but second, third, fourth date, they're late, they're rude to the waiter, they say off-color things to you that make you feel very devalued. Pay attention to their character because butterflies and chemistry, that stuff only lasts for a certain point. But if the person doesn't have the character to back up all those wonderful things that you feel, eventually they will lead to hurt. They will hurt you. Why? Because you've put them as this wonderful, amazing person, but you didn't stop and monitor their character to see, does their character really justify them being on that pedestal? Because some people, it just doesn't. And so without the solid character, there's no sustainability. Just because someone feels great in the beginning, if they don't have character, they will hurt in the end. I want you to remind yourself of that. Okay, this might feel good right now, but because I see that they have a weak character, this person is going to cost me my emotions, my mental well-being. They're going to be another disappointment on my heart, which is going to make me want to give up in love. Is the cost worth it? And I will tell you, here's your answer. No, it's not. So it's okay to get excited about someone, but we really have to be honest with, do they have the character to justify them being in my life long term? Me being this excited about them. Do they have the character to back that up? And most of the time, they're going to be looking right back at you and going, do you have the character? If they're a good person and you're the same unicorn to them that they are to you, they're going to want to see that. And the way that you show them that is by having solid boundaries. And if you're a person, you're like, ooh, Arica, boundaries are not so good. Honey, start there. Start with your boundaries. I have my boundaries program right here that you can get, and you can start working on those boundaries because that person's going to know, listen, if I can just show up late, if I can just disrespect them, This isn't a challenge to me. And we like that challenge. Like, I hear most guys saying, like, oh, I just want things to be easy in a relationship. That is the biggest lie that men tell themselves. No, they don't. They want a woman who's going to challenge them in the right way. And we challenge people with good boundaries. And it's the same thing. If a guy, if a woman says, oh, I just want a guy who thinks I'm wonderful. Yeah, but if he never challenges you because you don't have good boundaries, then you're gonna be like, he's just too much of a nice guy and I can walk all over him. And I'm looking for an alpha male and I don't want a guy that I can walk all over. It's our boundaries that shows another person like, look, I'm great, but you're gonna become the next best version of yourself when you're with me. So you need to know that. And I think that is a good tone to keep yourself in check, is that you continue to show up in your boundaries, and that makes them become more obsessed with you. Like, if it's a mutual exchange of interest, when they see that you have solid boundaries, they're like, ooh, this is someone you want to invest in. This is somewhere where you want to make home with, because this person really values themselves, and they show me that they value themselves because they have some pretty straightforward boundaries that they actually live by. They actually adhere to. So understand this, that yes, that person may be amazing, but do they have the character that you're looking for? And if you're like, Arica, I have no idea what kind of character I'm looking for, write down a list of values that make you feel safe, seen, and celebrated. And make sure that you're showing up with those same values as well. So I want to know if you're the person that when you meet someone that you get obsessed immediately. I want you to comment in the comment section, obsessed, and we will know who you are. So like I said, there's no shame to this, but we have to be we have to take a step back, be a little bit logical in the process and go, but do they have the character that justifies why I think they're so wonderful, why they're so great? Is their character as great as what I think they are? And if you're still not sure about your boundaries, I want you to watch this video of why a lack of boundaries makes you unattractive. Because at the end of the day, people will be very polite to you on a date. But when they don't call you back or they start blowing you off on a date, 9 out of 10 times, there was something in the way that you showed up that made them unattractive. Because when someone's really interested, they're going to make the time. They're going to make the effort. They're not going to blow you off. They are going to find a way to see you and spend more time with you. Also, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and know this, that you are loved, and that, listen, you're great too. You're worthy of someone being obsessed with you. But make sure you do the homework before you put them on the pedestal. I love you, and I will see you in my next video.